I am really passionate about what I do. This is not a job, it's a passion. And I think with anybody, if you are certainly passionate about what you do, then you've made the right career choice. And I can't see myself doing anything else. I honestly cannot. In my last 2 years at university, I managed to secure a bursary, and part of the service obligation was that I had to actually go back to the company that I'd secured the bursary from. I started working in the Durban office of the organization, and 2 years into my employment there, I got to know Mr. Eric Hall, who was a specialist consultant to the company at the time. He was the ex-city engineer of Johannesburg, and he inspired me in the sense that he came down to present on strategic integrated environmental management, and it was amazing. I mean, it was obviously lateral thinking amongst engineers. It delved into all aspects that brought the whole engineering thing together, and I really wanted to work under him. I then approached the company and requested a transfer to Johannesburg, and they then afforded me that opportunity, which was very good of them at the time. And I then relocated to the Johannesburg office in about 93. Mr. Hall, he was one of my mentors. The other mentor that certainly played a pivotal role in my career and my development was Frans van der Wielen. He sort of brought in the contractual aspects of engineering, and my love for contractual aspects really stems from him. With Mr. Hall, he was obviously retired and was brought in as a specialist, so he had this passion of wanting to sort of give everything to someone who was eager to grasp it and to go with it, and I think I was just that person. From a job satisfaction perspective, I've been involved in, and I would think that it certainly relates back to my early career development. I've been involved quite extensively in water and sanitation projects in Ivory Park and in Soweto. Although they might not have been of huge monetary value, I found them very satisfying in terms of provision of services to communities and things. The most important project, or the project that had the biggest impact on my career, I would think would certainly be the Bree Street 1200 diameter outfall sewer. It was a pipe jacking project 14 meters below ground along Bree Street, and that was certainly the project that changed my career dramatically, because in my transfer to Johannesburg, I got assigned to the branch manager, and at that time the policy in the office was that the branch manager couldn't have more than one project to be responsible for, which was a good thing for me, because he was so busy running the branch that he gave me basically carte blanche to move with the project. Hence the involvement of Mr. Eric Hall and Mr. Frans van der Wielen to support in the rollout of that project. I think the benefit of having been on the scholarship was the fact that I had an opportunity to work abroad. That certainly gave me a different perspective of how I viewed my professional development and education. It was certainly encouraging to be able to to perform at a different level than most engineers in the UK, and to be able to share with them stories of projects that I had been personally involved in. They could only kind of relate to it as stories and not really understand the full experience of it, because they had not been exposed to it. It also allowed me the opportunity in that year, after having been exposed to what UK engineers were actually doing at the time. It allowed me in that year to prepare my business plan as to what I was going to do when I got back. And hence, when they offered me the opportunity to take up permanent employment, I declined. because I had already developed a business plan. I'd spent the year developing my business plan, to the extent that I'd even identified individuals that I was going to employ. And it was sad though, because when I returned, those individuals had moved on, and but mind you, some of them came back re-employed later on as the company grew. Typically, I play 3 roles at the moment. I'm a manager, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm a technical person. If you had to go out this office and ask one of my staff members, they'd all vouch for the fact that I tend to be overly involved in the business, and I work very hard in the business and not on it. I'm now tending to change that focus, and I'm working very hard on my business and trying to work very little in it, but it is very difficult. But then, coupled with those 3 roles, there's also another role. The fact that I'm female, obviously there's a family responsibility and a family role that I play as well. And when you have a scenario like that, it's really difficult to get that balance right, but I try very hard. I do value my family above everything else, and I wouldn't compromise in terms of their well-being and welfare. But I think at the same time, I've created children that are very independent in their own right, and I think that stems from the fact that I tend to push them to their limits as well. We're currently 39 strong. If you look at the mix of MPA, 40% of that is registered professionals. We've got about 48% of that being technical support, so we're talking technicians, draftspeople. And I keep my admin support to a minimum of 20%, because I find that's the correct mix in the sector to ensure that we're in a profitable position. Our success is not just due to the fact that I'm passionate about what I do, and I tend to ensure that everyone that works with me or aligns themselves with me is also passionate about what they do. But it's also about the people that I employ. I mean, people have been with me for a number of years, and I value that a lot. At MPA, we offer everything within the civil and structural ambit. Anything from water and sanitation, roads and stormwater, traffic and transportation, as well as structural engineering. More recently, we've opened up a division called ECAD, which is Employment Creation and Development. And that division is focused on creation of employment within our projects that's directly related to labor-intensive construction. We have a strategy and a growth plan. I have tended to be moving into this 17-year adolescent, early adulthood phase. I'm kind of ambitious now as well. I would like to create a national footprint. We do currently have 2 regional offices, one in KZN and one in Western Cape. And I've taken it upon myself to ensure that we make these as successful in their own right as this particular office is presently. I think we certainly have a workable model, and I often say that in our sector, an organization structured the way ours is and offering the kind of skill set that we offer can be very closely linked to a municipality and the way they function. And I just wish more people would listen to me and hear what I say and take it seriously, because we have a really appropriate working model. If you had to take this company and place it effectively in a municipality, you'd have a fully functional, very effective municipality. And there's certainly some lessons to be learned from this. I'm hoping to document it and possibly create an opportunity for us to actually share with local government in terms of developing their capabilities. Generally, engineers tend to be heads down and focus on the details, not understanding where your business is going to. And I hope to change that within our environment, because I'm trying to ensure that responsibilities and accountabilities go throughout the organization or filter throughout the organization. And I certainly hope I can achieve that. If I do achieve that, then that would be truly remarkable. I think it's also important, and as a young graduate, that you need to have a passion to want to explore new opportunities, new ideas. If you constantly stay in a cocoon and live in the comfort of not wanting to, and typically in the civil engineering environment, not wanting to go to site or not, and if you have mentors that are not encouraging you to do those things, you're actually going to be sitting in a in that position forever and a day. And it's important to really have this ability to be able to explore and new opportunities, new challenges, because in my environment, every project is a learning opportunity. No two projects are the same. Each of them have their challenges and their rewards. And it's strange because often the people that I deal with, particularly the young people, tend to not see the opportunities that exist in projects. And you've got to then unpack it for them to that level of detail where you show them, there's so many opportunities for learning, even within the simplest of projects that might be placed in front of you. And they need to take these opportunities, because if you don't, you're losing out on a learning experience. And unfortunately, even with supervision and mentorship, there has to be some sort of connection. There needs to be that passion for wanting to learn, and there certainly needs to be that wanting to give as well. And I often find that the wanting to give is there, but as a young individual, how you actually capitalize on that opportunity is what sets you apart from the rest.